Hey everybody, it is Friday. I think it's November 3rd, 2023. I was listening to a podcast this morning. I've mentioned it before. It's called Expanded, and the episode that I listened to, I think, was called Emotional Athlete. And I can't remember the gentleman's name that was in the podcast, but he basically was an athlete and thought that he wanted to become a professional, I think, baseball player. And what he slowly realized throughout his life is that it wasn't about the playing baseball, it was about the feeling that he would get when he played it. And so he presents this idea that the things that we want in life, it's not about the thing itself. It's about the feeling that that thing brings to us. So, for instance, if if you want a new car, if you want a new job, if you want to lose weight, what are those feelings of that item bring to you? And so it sent me into this major reflection today because I've been emotional eating through my loneliness, and I'm having a difficult time. I am logging when I eat, which is a step in the right direction, regardless if it's nutritious for me or not. Um, but I am still struggling with what I actually choose to put in my body. And so it just dawned on me that there's this underlying part of me that still needs to be healed. And so I think, well, I'm already sad and I don't feel good. So why not just choose the food that keeps me in that state of mind, that I'm not worthy of feeling any better? And so many of us, can say, oh, Michelle, you're so worthy. We can tell other people, you're so worthy of feeling better. But there's this underlying root, something that's deep that tells me I'm not. And it's the same that's within you that says you're not. And so I watched a TED Talk yesterday. It was this young girl that she was 21 when she did the TED Talk, and she was 17 in competitive bodybuilding. And it threw her into the spiral of being overly obsessive about her body image to the point where she wasn't living her life. She just was overly obsessing about everything she put into her mouth. She said, even if it was, my chair bugs me a little bit. Um, Even if it was a handful of almonds that was nutritious for her, she still was obsessively thinking about how is this going to show up visually in my body. And it came to the point where her mom wanted to meet her for coffee and she was running late. And her mom texted her and said, hey, I got a table outside and I ordered you a mocha. And she said that she freaked out because how could her mom order her a mocha when she knew that she was on a diet and trying to, be mindful of everything she put in her mouth because of her competition. And so she was super angry. All the fire came out of her on the way there. And when she got to the coffee shop, her mom tried to open the door because she saw that her daughter was distraught. And the daughter was like, I can't even handle this right now. I'm so upset. And she pulled away. And then she had that Godsmack moment. That's what we talk about in recovery, where God was basically like, are you really going to choose being so upset over this item when you don't have to drink the mocha and miss out on an opportunity to spend time with your mom because of how you think others will perceive you in your skin if you drink the mocha. She said that 96% of women have body issues. And so, if 96% of women have body issues, when you lose the weight, it doesn't necessarily mean that they go away or that it fixes everything, unless you are tuning into the spiritual connection of why is it important for you to have the weight off. I talked about this with a client this week, and she's like, you get attention. You get people looking at you when you are a thinner body. Um, People comment on how good you look when you've lost weight. And then what happens in the aftermath of that? Are you tapping in spiritually so that you can feed yourself from a different source versus externally from somebody giving you a compliment? I know in my past, when I've lost weight, there has been friction for various reasons. And I think subconsciously, there's a part of me that says, I don't want to deal with that friction, even though there's nobody around me to deal with it with. But that it's a safety net and it's protection to not get the attention, even though I'm yearning to have a partner. It's twisted. And our subconscious mind is so powerful that it allows us to think that way. And so right now, I see a ton of posts about, the hustle and getting up early and putting in extra hours to be different in your body. And although that may serve some of us temporarily, is it something that you're going to be able to maintain? One, and what is the feeling that you're seeking from the end result? And are you going to maintain that feeling when you get to the end result by just changing your exterior? The reason we accept that is because that's what society tells us. We see in all the advertisements and all the magazines, if you just look a certain way, you'll be happy, right? You see the women smiling in their bikinis on the beach and life is grand. But the reality is that there are plenty of women that are in that shape that are not happy. They thought that that was the magic pill. If I just get the weight off, all my problems will go away. And so this podcast, a gentleman was talking about the different levels of athletes. And I can't remember. I have to listen to it again to really tap into what he classified them in. But there's basically 3 levels of athletes. There's the ones that, and these are emotional athletes. So it's how you deal with lack of external gratification. It's how you deal with attention-seeking behaviors. It's how you deal with people confronting you on something that you've said or done. And he says basically there is, the poor athlete that basically gets confronted on something and just is like, F you, gone, and doesn't do any sort of internal reflection on how their behavior affected somebody else. And then there is the mid-level athlete that will hear what the person has to say, not get upset about it, but not do too much internal study on how their behavior or words or actions affected somebody else. And then there's the top level athlete who embraces the feedback, who is willing to have the difficult conversations, who is willing to clean their side of the street, is what we say in recovery. And that athlete is the one that is willing to do the self-study, that is willing to say, you know what, in that moment, I allowed my character defect to show up. And my character defect is because of XYZ trauma from my childhood. They don't have to communicate that to the other person, but if they are willing to internalize it and write about it and move through it so that they can see their patterns in this world, then they have hit the ball out of the park. They get a home run. And so I've thought about that for myself today, where it's like, I don't know which athlete I would classify myself as. I feel like I'm at the top. Um, right now, my spiritual work is more important to me than getting the weight off. And I know that from my past attempts at losing weight that if I don't dig down deep and heal those parts of me that are still attention seeking, are still thinking that I'm only lovable if I weigh a certain weight, then I will constantly be fighting this emotional roller coaster with food. So that's my little ramble for today. And I hope whatever you're seeking in life, you can remind yourself of it's not the thing that you're looking for, it's the feeling attached to that thing. And can you find that within yourself, even if you don't tangibly hold on to it? All right, everybody. I'm going to rest here for just a little bit and go to a meeting tonight and get my recovery game on and tap into some spirituality. Thanks for watching. Cheers.